So these movements are coming from the 6th Diminished scale. And I was having a session with one of my premium members who, at the time of this video, my premium members on my website get a free evaluation from me and a diagnostic so I can tell you where you're at, what you need to work on. And he had some trouble on the 6th Diminished scale. He knew what it was, but he was saying, Sean, I just need help with how to apply the scale and where to use it in songs. And so I thought that would make for an interesting video. Now I know you guys have been tagging me, the videos. I have seen those videos. Okay, I'm gonna get to it. But I haven't done an actual teaching video in a while. For today's video, I just kind of wanted to go over a basic concept because this thing is actually quite simple the way that I use it. And if I take a major scale, to get the 6th diminished scale, it simply adds a half step between the 5th and the 6th note. The 5th scale degree of C is G, and the 6th is A. So I'm just adding a half step between these two notes, which is an A flat. So if I play that scale, that's the 6th diminished scale. Now, if I wanted to be minor, I simply flatten the 3rd note. So it sounds like this. So I have the major scale and the 6th diminished minor scale. And I love practicing scales that I can get chords from. I love the 6th diminished scale because that's what it does. It helps me to embellish melodies. To get the chords for this scale, I simply take every other note in the scale. If we look at the scale on the screen and we look at the C, skip a note, D, and go to the E, skip a note and go to the G, skip a note and go to the A. So this is the first chord in that scale. Well, what would be the second chord? Well, I go to the second note, and I would play every other note. So I'll skip the E, play an F, skip the G, play an A flat, skip the A, and play a B. Notice that this is a diminished chord. And then if I go to the next note and skip every other note, it's skip, G, skip, A, skip, B. And let's do one more to show you the pattern here. So look at the pattern. The next note is an F, skip, A flat, skip, B, skip, D, another diminished. So if I go up the scale, it sounds like this. And notice these are alternating major 6th and diminished chords. That's going to happen all throughout this whole scale. I personally use the minor one a little bit more. So that's where we flatten the 3rd, and that's the only change. So it would sound like this. It's a really cool scale, and there's a lot we can do with this. But what I tend to do is play this in drop 2 position. I also want to make a couple points here on the way that I look at this. I like seeing this as alternating minor 7 flat 5 chords and diminished chords. So minor 7 flat 5, diminished, minor 7 flat 5, kinda diminished, minor 7 flat 5 or minor 6, diminished, minor 7 flat 5 or minor 6, diminished. So in typical Sean fashion, I would use this to try to establish some kind of rule or pattern. That being that before any minor 7 flat 5 chord, I can put a diminished chord before it, right? A half step before, I can use a diminished. So this is one way that I would use this. So let's look at the song, I Will Bless the Lord. And we're playing this in E flat. Oh, my soul. And then I will need to go to a minor chord. And all that is within me. Now I'm going to be approaching a C minor. Bless his whole. So bless his whole. I'm at a C minor chord. So for those of you who are wondering where would I use the 6th diminished sound? So there's a lot of ways I could use it. One way is I could have used it on the 2. So bless his home. Bless so that, remember the 6th diminished rule tells me that I can use right before this, I can use a half step below this, I can use a C sharp diminished. So that is within me. So bless his. So there's me using the alternating. But then what about not even using it there? How about I use it on the C minor that we're going to. So bless his whole, we're in the key of E flat, and the 6 is a minor. How about I change that to a minor 6? So bless his whole. Now if I use it there, I can use my 6th diminished pattern to embellish that chord so that I'm not just sitting on it if I'm wanting to know, okay, what do you want to do to embellish that up, right? So it would be, that is within me, that is within me. See, that's what I did at the beginning of the video. All right, so now you can see here that we're using, see, I'm using that scale to embellish. The idea is that I'm taking the C minor sound and using the patterns from the 6th diminished scale to embellish this sound, right? Like, let's say we were doing What a Friend We Have in Jesus. Let's do it in F. And then we have this, so we need to find a place we can use this. We're in the key of F. And we want to let our ears be our guide. So let's keep on going, because I want to look for this minor sound. I think I'll use it here. So now someone's gonna say, Sean, he'll explain what you're doing here. He's playing an F. What scale is it coming from? It's coming from the D minor 6th diminished scale. All right, so let's take a step back here. So the 6th diminished scale in D with the major would be between the 5 and the 6. So the 6th diminished minor scale in D would be taking this 3 and dropping it a half. So our first chord is this, right? If we take every other note. Our second chord is this. Third chord, fourth chord, fifth. Then, right? Then this, right? So I used the D minor 6 to replace an F major. And that's where I got the movement from. There's my F minor. Yeah, so this is the part where many of us struggle because we'll learn a pattern, but then we'll say, where do we use it? I wanted to say to use the 6th diminished minor scale on the minor sounds and use the 6th diminished major on major sounds, but clearly my ear feels differently, so maybe not. You know, I encourage everybody to experiment and find your own ways to implement things. You know, the goal of this channel is to get to automation. And this means that this scale should be memorized in every key in both block position and drop 2 position. And now you got to remember, my philosophy in music is that the understanding that doesn't come from your hands is not as valuable. So if it's only in your head, but not in your hands, it's not as valuable to you. So I would rather be able to have that 6th diminished scale and be able to utilize it and not totally explain it than be able to say all the theory for it and then go on the piano and just not have a clue on where to use it. You got to let your ear be your guide. You have to allow yourself to feel the music and let your ear say, I'm going to put it here because it sounds great. So I definitely recommend and I challenge you musicians to just kind of memorize this and just start the experimentation process of trying to figure out where you want to put this. So if you're interested in learning more about this particular scale, consider joining our training website, where I'm going to be discussing this in more detail, including how to practice this correctly for a song. If you're already a member, then definitely look out for that email, because I'm supposed to be doing a great training on this one. Thanks again, everyone. Consider giving this channel a thumbs up if you like the video, as it helps to push out the channel to more people. All right, we'll talk to you guys soon.